Downright Tour Guides. I'm Carrie.
I'm Catherine.
And I'm Bree.
Today we are touring the ancient city of Rome.
So, I love Rome. I have been several times because my family's actually from Rome. I'm third generation in America from my Italian family, and there's actually a street in Rome that is named after my family. So we're a really old Italian family, and it's a super, super, super rare last name here in America. There's only one family that has my last name in the entire country, and we're all related. And then when you go to Rome, there is still a pretty small family name, but it is recognizable because of the street name, and it has punctuation in it, which always throws people for a loop here. So that's my Rome story. Been to the Vatican multiple times with the grandparents, and love Rome. Excited to share Rome. My favorite Italian city is actually Florence, so don't tell Rome, but it is my favorite. So,
so I am not from Italy in any way, but I did do a semester abroad in Italy. I actually studied in Milan, but I traveled all over Italy, and I did get to go to Rome. I did the underground gladiator tour and all that fun stuff. I'm with Catherine, though. Florence is definitely my favorite city. I actually went to Florence, and then I think it was from Florence we took a bus to Volterra for the City of the Dead for Halloween. But when I was there, I got to tour Dante's house, and you know how I love Dante. I was in there for like 2 hours. I left my friend outside. I was like, I'm so sorry, but you know I nerd out on this, so
sure.
That's my story.
I've actually never been to Italy, which is ironic because I studied Italian in college. But I studied Italian because it was pertinent to my major. And so I actually got my degree in music. So I sing in Italian, so it was pertinent to what I was doing. But I've actually never been to Italy, so I'm really excited to get to do this. However, one thing I do really enjoy is Italian wine. So... yeah. Fun fact, Italian plays tag with France to see who has the largest wine producing country. So you can usually find some pretty good quality wines from both countries, basically anywhere you go. I think both bottles that we have today, one's $10, one's $11. So, I mean, it's cheap, but it's also DOC, which is the top of the quality scale. But Rome is part of the Lazio region, which is in central Italy. And red grapes grow really well in central Italy, but in Lazio specifically, Trebbiano and Malvasia are both like the top grapes that are grown, and they're both white wine grapes. So we have both of those today. Trebbiano will be first, and we're going to do our nice little tasting, but first we're going to pop this baby open.
So satisfying.
That was really nice.
And our wine cork opener thingy matches your nails.
Oh my gosh, it does.
They're purple, by the way.
It's purple.
And
Purple
it's my
favorite
purple
color.
wine opener, and everyone always tells me it's not a very good wine opener,
No,
but it's
terrible.
purple.
It's purple, but it's terrible. So if you have a double hinged wine opener that you would like to send us, we'll give you a P.O. box number that you can eventually send stuff to us.
All the stuff.
All the stuff. Please send us stuff.
If anyone's talented, we were just talking about fan art and how we're not talented, but you might be talented, and
We would
I'd
like
love
that.
to see what you got.
Give me bigger boobs.
So make my butt smaller.
That's Catherine.
That's me, okay?
Bree wants bigger boobs.
I just want my hair to be swishy. I don't have a whole lot of hair, so what I do have, I want it to be portrayed very nicely.
So for personal descriptions of us, me, blue eyes, lots and lots and lots of curves all over the place. Sometimes not where they're supposed to be, and the big blue eyes.
So this is Bree. I have blue eyes also, but they're more stormy, and they change with my mood and everything else. And I have lots of big, curly, wavy, crazy reddish-brown hair that my friends call my lion's mane. And I'm also curvy, but I'm pear-shaped because I have no boobs.
And this is Carrie. I also have blue eyes. And I have
You're
short.
the blue-eyed bandits.
Hey! Someone please draw us the blue-eyed bandits.
Oh my gosh.
But I have short red hair. It's a nice little pixie cut that I've been rocking since I was in 8th grade. And I am a nice hourglass shape. Although my butt sometimes does not like to cooperate and gets a little flat for me. So we're working on that right now.
No problem with the flat booty here.
Yeah.
So you can also look at our Instagram if you want to know who's talking to you at Dark Side Tour Guides on Instagram. We have some of our travel pictures up there, and you can see who these weird bitches are who are yelling at you from your podcast listening service.
Thank you. All right, so we are going to pour this beautiful wine now. This is our Trebbiano.
We're not peeing.
Listen to the bubbly sound. Ooh. And now we're ASMR. I'm going to touch the microphone like all those people. They're like, tap, 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 tap. ASMR, tap, tap.
So,
Whispering.
as we can see, this is a pretty bright yellow.
It is.
Mm-hmm.
So it's going to be...
I don't say
I mean, it is yellow.
Yes.
It is not a subtly colored liquid.
So, fun fact about Trebbiano, it is actually mainly used for brandy and balsamic vinegar. And so it's not actually really a
Wine grape?
Traditionally wine grape. They usually use it for other things.
Just makes me think of Peter and the Starcatcher.
All right, so first we use our sight, and we saw that it was like a nice bright yellow.
Like a canary.
Yes, now we sniff.
Like a canary.
This is very earthy.
It smells like wine.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Brie.
It does. I didn't say it loud enough for them to hear.
Brita said what it smelled like.
You
To
don't
her.
need to know. You don't want to know.
But no,
It's a little
it
inky smelling.
does. It kind of smells like asparagus a little bit.
That's what I just said.
I know, but I didn't say the other part.
rest.
So
It's nice.
we're not swirling it because we don't have the glasses to swirl it, but it would just open up the flavor a little more. We might be able to get something else, and then we sip.
I love chilled wine.
I didn't choke this time.
You didn't chug this time. This is nice and crisp.
Yeah.
So
Pear? Is there pear in it?
yes, there is.
Yes! Oh my gosh! Killing it.
Pear and apple are the two primary flavors for it. You can also pick up white peach, lemon, green apple specifically, and basil,
Okay.
which I can see basil in there.
Yeah, we'll talk about basil in just a sec.
Ooh. So this is our Trebbiano. We're going to taste our Malvasia a little bit later. We're going to finish this bottle at some point, and we will then do our tasting for Malvasia later. But some info on Malvasia before we get there. I was really shocked because it was difficult to find information on Malvasia. It wasn't in either of my big wine books, which they're like really good quality wine books. And oddly enough, the website where I ended up finding a lot of the information made one of the books that I have. So they had the information on it, but wasn't in the book.
Maybe it's not popular enough in the States.
But it's more prevalent than the Trebbiano, and the Trebbiano was in there.
I like this. My mom would love this.
Well, it was, I think, $11 at Total Wine.
Leslie would be all about this.
Total Wine, please sponsor us.
Yeah.
Yeah, Total Wine, sponsor us.
Oh my gosh.
I need the booze. All the booze.
I would cry.
We love our Total Wine.
I'd buy all the decanters that I don't need and my cats would knock over, but they're so beautiful.
Yes.
Sorry, I had to sip. Okay. So, there's actually a lot of history for it, but I'm not going to bore y'all with it. But the Malvasia di Lazio, which is what we will be drinking, is a crossing of Muscat of Alexandria, which Muscat tends to be sweeter.
Yeah.
And then Chiava Grossa, which is pretty popular in France and Italy, so it makes sense. And the Malvasia grape has a single dark dot. And I thought that was interesting.
That's cute.
Yeah, so the grape just has this big old dot.
It's got a little birthmark.
It does.
Oh.
It's very cute. So just to give a flavor profile before we get there, we obviously do the tasting later. But you can pick up white peach, wildflower, green almond, and basil For the specific one, we'll be having, yes, lots of earthiness. The specific one we will be having, though, has melon, apple, and quince.
Okay.
Yeah. And so it's going to be less acidic, but sweeter.
Yeah, this one is significantly less acidic to me than the hungry wines.
Right.
So this is like a perfect white wine for me because it's not buttery and it's super crisp, and I like it when there's not a lot of like lingering when I drink white wines, especially because I tend to like to drink a lot of white wine if I'm drinking white wine.
Right. Well, and ironically, you know, you like when it doesn't linger, but for red wines, if it doesn't linger, that means it's cheaper.
Yeah.
And see, I don't mind with red wine.
Yeah.
Because I'm not sipping red wine as frequently as I am white wine. They're two different mindsets to me. White wine is day wine. Red wine is evening wine. And that will make sense during quarantine if you are in the same boat as me.
Yes.
Two different things.
So, a note for wine tasting. Work light to heavy, white to red. Because white wines tend to be much lighter than red wines, and you don't want to blow your palate. So if you have a really big cab, you don't want to drink that before you have a nice delicate white like this Trebbiano.
See? Day wine.
Right. But that way, you know, if you're doing a tasting of multiple wines, which is why I'd order them like this for the Trebbiano first and then the Malvasia later.
Sure. Well, I'm a big fan.
It's pretty tasty. I'm enjoying this.
And it went very nicely with our meal for tonight. So, I made a traditional Roman pasta dish called amatriciana. I forgot to add a syllable. Amatriciana is what it is. And it is a... Chiana.
Yes. C next to I makes a ch sound. If it's C-H-I, it's key.
Yep.
I can read in it, but I can't say a single word. Okay.
Amatriciana.
Amatriciana.
Chi.
Chiana.
There you go.
It's yummy. So it's a tomato sauce, and it has fried pork fat in it. So there's different kinds that you can use. We ended up using a prosciutto, a cubed prosciutto, which is a cured Italian pork meat, but it adds saltiness. And we used red pepper flakes, which is kind of a big part of this because it's a rather simple sauce. And we used a pecorino cheese on top and fresh basil, and that's where it gets a lot of its flavor. So a lot of sauces take all day. This literally took me 20 minutes, and we served it on gluten-free pasta, and it was very flavorful for it being literally a 15-minute sauce. So
it was delicious.
Yeah, and Rome is super famous for its pastas. We used a gluten-free spaghetti noodle. The pasta shape is super important in Italy, and certain shapes go with different sauces, but because I am gluten-free, I was a little bit limited, but we just did a traditional spaghetti noodle with this sauce, and it was excellent. And if you can have fresh basil, it makes all the difference in the world.
Oh yeah, we picked it. It was great. So good.
Yeah, delicious, super hearty meal, and took like 20 minutes to make, so I really enjoyed it. Thoughts?
Yeah.
It was really good. I really enjoyed, being able to bite into a little bits of prosciutto in there. It just added a little bit of texture to it because, sometimes pastas, especially spaghetti, if you don't have something to break it up, it just can get a little boring. And I love exciting meals. And so being able to have a little bit of heat from the red pepper flakes, that little bit of sweetness from the basil, and then the texture from the prosciutto was really, really nice.
Yeah. It's easy, and in Texas, it's super easy to find like high quality Italian meats and cheeses because it's a cuisine that's cooked here a little bit more frequently than, in America. Italian food has been pretty well integrated into the culture. So Italian American food is served in all the states, and it's become very popular, and it has been completely accepted by the American culture as, quote, acceptable food, unquote. So it's really easy. I've been cooking Italian food my whole life. So yeah, this was nice. I had literally everything I needed to make this already in the fridge and the pantry because I cook Italian food all the time. So yeah, delicious, quick and easy meal.
And I think you said earlier that everything but the gluten-free pasta was from Italy.
Yes, everything, and even the tomatoes were all imported from Italy, because I'd much rather make a simple meal with few ingredients and buy really high quality ingredients, which is why I grow my own herbs and things like that, because then I can control exactly how they're grown and when they're picked, and it just makes a really big difference. So this was a more expensive meal because I spent the money on the meats and the cheeses, and if I could have, I would have bought fresh pasta. Fresh pasta is amazing, but gluten-free, it is extremely hard because you have to use like 4 or 5 different flours to get the consistency even close to a real pasta. But if you can eat regular pasta, go for it and go with fresh, and it'll be super excellent.
Well, and if you can even make it, we made pasta at my parents' house probably a year and a half ago, and I mean, the actual dough is not difficult. The hard part is just getting it thin enough.
Yeah, you need a pasta machine to really to get it to the right consistency. But you can make like raviolo and things pretty easily at home.
It was very easy.
If you're gonna cook it, make sure it's al dente, because mushy pasta is absolutely an insult to my people.
All right, guys, moving on to the history and lore. Probably going to focus less on history today because it's Rome, so you kind of know.
It's been around for a while.
Like 8th century BC, kind of.
Yeah.
They dominated. I mean, they grew from like a small town to an empire that included like tons of Western Asia, Britain, Northern Africa, most of Europe, and the Mediterranean islands. And obviously their influence can be found in the Romance languages: Spanish, Italian, obviously, French, it said Romanian too, and Portuguese, which Portuguese I expect because it's closer to like Spanish, but obviously they all stem from Latin, so Rome.
I had a professor tell me that Spanish wasn't a Romance language, and I lost my mind.
That's a lie.
Because
look at all the similarities just between... Ooh, similarities. Ugh, I didn't say that. Similarities just between French, Italian, and Spanish.
Oh, yeah. I know.
I mean, to know. The two forms of to know.
That's why I can literally read in both French and Italian.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I'm fluent in Spanish, and I can read in them.
Oh, I was livid.
I remember in college... In French, my French lab, we were taking a test, and I said kitchen in Spanish. I wrote kitchen in Spanish instead of in French by accident. And freaking Carl was like, I think you meant kitchen. Carl, you're fluent in both Spanish and French. Don't get an attitude with me. You know what I meant. You know what I meant. But anyway, that's the problem with knowing multiple languages.
Yeah, cucina versus cocina. Yeah.
And then cucina in Italian.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Who knew you're going to learn languages in this podcast?
Yeah, I mean, I like languages, so probably a lot, guys. Get ready for it. But yeah, Rome sacked a lot of cities and enslaved lots of peeps, guys. But I mean, they got their fair share too. Like the Gauls, they sacked and burned Rome first, and then Rome was like, "We getting you back, guys. It's coming for you."
That will come into play in my own.
Yeah, I don't talk about Spartacus, guys.
Okay, good.
I'm just sorry.
Good. Colin will break out of the back room and start quoting the movie if you bring him up.
So I watched.
He'll probably like rip a shirt off.
I watched the HBO series and I was a fan. Not gonna lie. I was watching it one time though. My mom came out and she's like, "Oh, he has a nice penis," and I'm like, "Karen, no." So yeah, Rome penises. That pretty much covers it right there.
In marble, in real life, it's fine.
Everywhere.
Yeah. So if you go to Pompeii, there's...
I was about to say, I went to Pompeii and there's dicks everywhere.
Amazing. It's so amazing. And if you can do the hike, absolutely do it. Up to Mount Vesuvius. It's gorgeous. There's limoncello everywhere.
Yes.
And penis graffiti from thousands of years ago.
So when I was doing my research, I was sitting here thinking like, guys, Pompeii though, and it's like dicks everywhere, and it's like, the graffiti is like, yeah, I fucked Sally in the back stall, yo.
Yeah. So like there's basically a brothel that's there that was preserved, and there's images on the wall so that you could just, because most of the time the women working in the brothels were slaves, and so they may not even speak the same language, and so you would just point to the picture of the position you wanted on the wall.
Oh my god.
And when we went the second time we went, my youngest sister was only like 7 or 8, and my mom's like, "Look, honey, education," and Grace was like, "Ah!"
I can see Leslie doing that. Grace being like, "What the hell?"
She was like, "Ah!" And every time we were like, "Oh, look, another penis," and Grace would just like turn red and like run away.
That was me on our first trip to France.
Immersive education.
Yeah. Except I really wanted to get involved with the culture because we went to Nice in France.
Mm-hmm.
And in France, you know, the women go topless. And I was like, I want to be like the French. Let me go topless. It did not make my parents very happy.
See, yeah, difference in family backgrounds. My mom would have been like, "Woo, woo!
Yep.
No 10 lives!" Like running around on the beach.
Yeah.
That's my
7-year-old Carrie was not allowed to go topless on the French beach.
Oh.
You were 7?
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't have let you go topless on the French beach either.
I don't know. At 7, you were exactly the same
had
as the
no-
little boy who's 7.
Yeah, I had no tits yet.
I still have no tits. I mean, I still probably wouldn't be like...
Talk to my G's.
Okay. Okay, back from the tits, guys. We're coming back. Except I don't remember where we are because we got real off track now.
Language.
Gaul.
Oh, we're
Spartacus.
after that.
Oh, Spartacus, penises.
Spartacus. Rome actually took a lot of certain aspects from other cultures, like art and religion, and they incorporated it into their own. So, like, okay, as I mentioned, Rome incorporated a lot of other cultures' art and religion into their own, like Greek mythology.
Incorporated or stole?
That. I was
Both?
being nice, but yeah. Like Greek mythology. So the Roman goddess Venus is Aphrodite. Neptune is Poseidon. Guess who Athena was?
Is this a trick question?
Do you not know who Athena was in Roman mythology? I told you I'd bring Harry Potter into it. It was Minerva.
Oh, yeah.
So McGonagall, there's another Harry Potter name.
Yay!
Perfect.
So later, I'll bring up another one with the fall of the Empire and Civil War. The guy who came out on top was named Lucius Septimius Severus. Shout out to JK! Our girl knew her freaking mythology.
She's so perfect.
She
I
is
love her.
wonderful. She incorporated 3 different characters from 2 names. Great. Anyway.
Please be our friend.
Yeah, we love
Sponsor us.
you.
I have a signed Goblet of Fire cover page in my room that I got from my aunt for my bridal shower.
And she cried when she got it.
Yep,
I
it was
did.
amazing.
But
It was
like, you know,
amazing.
people
I
are
just-
like, wow, thanks for these, you know, mixing bowls. And I did love my mixing bowls, but can I tell you what? I cried when I got my Harry Potter signed page.
I got you a cat treat because I know you're a cat.
I know. They use them.
I know. It makes my heart happy when I see them
Yeah.
scratching on it.
Okay, so we had our shout out to JK. I gotta move on. I'm sorry. So there were,
JK, love us.
yeah, we love you, not in a creepy way.
Mine's a little creepy.
I might have accidentally drunk tweeted at you one time. Please forgive me.
Sorry, not sorry.
Sorry, not sorry. It was about Hufflepuffs.
Yeah, I'm a huff.
My husband's a huff, so
Mine too.
Yeah.
And my sister.
go Team Slytherin.
Ravenclaw. Caw! It's our call.
What noise do honey badgers make? Like, nom, 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 nom.
Nah, they don't give a fuck.
Yeah,
They don't.
I'm supposed to be nice and like food.
But honey badgers don't give a fuck.
Yeah, sure.
Betcha.
That's me. We'll go with it.
Yep.
Okay. So I'm not really going to talk about Caesar or Mark Antony and Cleopatra or Nero.
I'll talk about him a little bit.
Yeah, because I figured someone else would, but also y'all probably know about these people already because Rome. Anyway.
I almost talked about Nero because he is involved in the beginning of my story, but I totally edited him out because I thought you were going to talk about him.
No, I was like, I'm not going to talk about these people because people probably already know about them, so. But yeah, the empire's fall was, quote, one of the most dramatic implosions in the history of human civilization. Yeah, so And a fun fact, the word vandalism comes from the sacking of Rome by the Germanic tribe, the Vandals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They liked to fuck shit up.
I was about to say fuck shit up!
That's kind of what they did. That was their whole bit.
Yeah.
Pillage the village, as one might say.
Pillage the village. So, yeah. In terms of religion, Constantine declared Christianity Rome's official religion in 325. But more interestingly, about 40 years after this, Emperor Julian the Apostate tried to bring back the temples and the pagan cults, but they switched it all back when he died, and he was the last pagan emperor. But, like, bring back the pagan gods.
Well, I mean, Christianity literally stole, like, all of the pagan holidays.
Oh, we're
Which we're gonna talk about that.
So I talk about a cult later.
We'll talk about it in my story, too. Don't worry.
Okay.
We got this covered.
Wait, a cult or the occult?
No, a cult.
Both.
Perfect.
I talk about a cult.
I like both, so continue.
Same. I'm not going into the Catholic Church and the Vatican and whatnot, really, because, I mean, the church kind of comes in later with the cult, but, yeah. You don't want to get me going. We'd be here all damn night.
Yep.
So, the cult I'm talking about is the cult of Mithras.
Oh.
And the reason I got interested in this was because I watched Da Vinci's Demons, and they talked about the sons of Mithras, and I was like, yes, tell me all of the things. And they had, like, these little underground temple kind of things. I think they were called, like, Mithraeum or something. I don't know. But it was one of Rome's major religions during the same time as Christianity, and it started in the 1st century, and it was around until about the 5th century, before it kind of just disappeared. And I mean, like, really disappeared. No one knows what happened. And that's in part...
Aliens.
It's the aliens. Honestly, it could be.
Always.
Yep.
They don't really know what happened, though, because...
No, I do. It was aliens, Brie.
Because, so they were kind of at war with, not at war, but, like, they would go back and forth with Christians, because Christians are like, this is, like, a demonic worship. You're mocking the...
Literally, the favorite thing people like to fight about is religion.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Why can't we all just get along?
Don't start it. But, yeah, so they would vandalize their temple-type places, caves. Mm-hmm. They're caves, so I'm like, yay, I want to be with them.
Fun side note, the three of us has very different religious views and backgrounds, so we will not talk about it for the most part. If we talk about it, it'll be historically, because it's just way easier, so you do you.
Yeah. And I feel like we're all pretty open-minded. I mean, we're all friends and we talk about religion, but we're not like, yo, my religion's right, you have to listen to me. I'm good. As long as no one's shoving their religion or whatever down my throat, I'm good.
Yeah.
So... but yeah, so there was animosity between the cult of Mithras and the Christians, and, like, the Christians would, like, vandalize their temples and, deface their, like, relics and whatnot.
Their deities.
So they said it could have been that, and also Christianity was coming up, you know, in the government, like, they were tight with the government, so it could have been that, but also they said some of the... religious practicing places, the Mithraeum or whatever, the Ostia of the cult of Mithras looked fine. They weren't damaged or anything. It looks like people just up and left. So
because of aliens.
So they really just disappeared.
I wish you could see my face right now. It is so serious.
She's so serious, guys.
Yep.
She's really serious. But it's really interesting. And they don't have any, like, historical writings or any documentation. It's just, like, architecture and arts and stuff like that, like paintings and whatnot. So that's all the information they have on the Sons of Mithras is from that. They don't have any written historical anything.
Neat.
So it's really interesting. And the Romanized version is a Persian god, Mithras, portrayed as a man in Persian clothing slaying a bull. And it was practiced across the Roman Empire. It was a new religious movement under the Roman Empire. But Mithras is thought to be based on an old Indo-Iranian deity.
Is it Zoroastrianism?
They say it could be Zoroastrian not cosmetology.
Zoroastrian. Super interesting religion who also is all about aesthetics.
So they said it could be that, or it could be like astrological kind of deal, because a lot of the symbolism and the like mosaics and stuff they find are very similar like eerily
Okay.
similar to zodiac signs and stuff.
Cool.
So they don't really know because there's nothing written, but it's all speculation. But yeah,
That's fun.
it's based on an old Indo-Iranian deity Mitra or Mithra, and that god actually predates the sons of Mithras by centuries, and it's said to be a separate religion from the cult of Mithras mentioned here. The earliest mention of Mitra was the 14th century BCE, portrayed as the god of light, the sun, all that stuff. And he's meant to fight off the darkness and evil.
That's nice.
Yeah. So,
It's almost like there's a connection to many other world religions.
Yes.
That
I say
also-
this all the time.
Take positive things.
Yep.
Oh, that's so weird.
Yep.
Crazy.
Sorry.
Yep. No, seriously,
We have lots of thoughts.
And aliens.
And my world lit class, freshman or sophomore year in college, I was like, so it should be renamed comparative religions because all of
Yep.
the texts are old
I got into a
religious
fight
texts.
with my
and there's
professor.
so many. Yeah, I was not well liked.
No,
Well,
me neither.
I'm like,
Honestly,
all of the religions are the same.
If you
Surprise!
escape a world lit or a world history class without people hating you,
Honestly.
you didn't try hard enough in that class.
Well, honestly, I find the irony in this of me being the most religious covering ghosts.
Yeah.
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 Hey, we're flexible. We're open-minded individuals.
I'm a tolerant Christian.
Step into the 21st century with
Right.
us, folks. It's fun here. We have wine and dark things.
And
Right.
spaghetti.
And spaghetti.
God said love, and Jesus turned water into wine. So I'm fine.
Yeah.
This is great.
There you go. Okay. Oh, I was right. They're called the Mithraeum. The
Okay.
meeting rooms, they're rectangular with vaulted ceilings, and they're small and often in caves.
An absolute
It's our place.
hideout.
It's our place.
So when we become famous, we're gonna make our recording studio in a
Mithraeum.
cave.
But we have to, like, super soundproof it.
It's
Yeah.
okay though
Yeah.
because there won't be sun. I can't
Yeah.
get burned.
No, let it
Same.
echo. Let it echo, and it'll be super
Echo!
spooky. It'll add to.
Spooky.
No, totally ruin. But it would be.
We would laugh.
I mean, I would just, like, sing an opening and just be, like,
It would,
echoing
it
everywhere.
would remind me of that scene in my favorite Christmas movie ever, How the Grinch Stole Christmas, with Jim Carrey.
You're an idiot.
You're an idiot. You're an idiot. Yes.
Perfect.
So, back to this cult, guys. They were considered an initiation cult because they had to perform.
Ooh.
Yeah, they had to perform a series of rituals to join, and once initiated, they would go through levels.
Oh.
There were 7 levels, as evidenced by the floor mosaics of the Mithraeum Ostia near Rome. And they had men, and I think it was just men, because fuck y'all. But anyway.
Patriarchy.
Fucking patriarchy. My sister's like, I've never heard you say patriarchy without saying fuck first.
You know what?
You
We're
right.
gonna make our own cave cult, and you can't join
Women
either.
only!
No boys allowed.
All the clams. Okay. So, I had men from all over the social ladder, from politicians.
Okay, little did y'all know, that's what the opera community calls ourselves because someone got really mad about us calling us the clams.
I like things like the clitorati and stuff like that. So we gotta work clit in there.
Okay, no, that's literally what, like, the opera community calls ourselves.
The clambery.
That's fantastic. You know, I love all things that can work a vagina in there. Anyway, guys, I don't even like vaginas, but I like to mention them.
As a proud owner.
Okay. Yeah, so they'd have, like, politicians all the way to slaves, but they still weren't equals. Fuck you.
Never.
Yeah. A lot of them got, like, the slaves would get caught at, like, the lower end. I think it's, like, the ravens, the first one, and then it's, like, the bridegroom, and it goes up from there. And then I think they would get caught, if not in the lower end, then at the top, like, in the mid-spectrum, and that was, like,
The best they could do.
yeah, like, the...
Well, of course, they also died at, like, 36, so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How high could you really get?
So... That's fun. Inequality. Fuck you.
Yep.
Oh, yeah. I mentioned it could be astrological based on similarities. They have no written historical records. Blah, blah, blah. Oh, meals at meetings. So, obviously, it's Rome. So,
Food.
all meetings are, like, meal based.
Yes.
Thank
Very,
God.
very food
What
focused.
a beautiful culture.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
So, it was depicted imagery for a lot of the meetings for the cult of Mithras was depicted very similarly to like the Eucharist, and that was very controversial. It was referred to as a demonic devotion, or a sort of demonic interpretation of the Last Supper. But yeah, like I said, they disappeared in the 4th century and no one knows why. And it could have been Christian backlash and the Christianity coming up in the government, but it may not have been, and we may never know why, which is interesting but also sad.
Well, we can talk about that a little bit within my story.
Okay.
Because kind of same thing happens.
Ooh, intrigue.
Ew.
Okay. Well, I should have saved that for last then so we could lead into it, but I didn't know. So we're going to do more, and then I'll be done. So, Romulus and Remus, they were twins.
More Harry Potter!
Yeah. They were twin sons of Mars, the god of war, and Rhea Silvia. I don't know who the fuck that is, but...
It's a cool name.
It is. It is.
She sounds like a cool wolf mom.
Right?
Yep.
Right? Okay. So the lore states that King Emilius of Alba Longa, and that's where the twins were supposed to have been born, he put the twins in a basket to drown on the Tiber River because he's a bag full of dicks.
No.
And because they were seen as threats to his rule. Like,
well, they're infants.
All of you fucking incompetent and impotent rulers. Yep, I'm bringing dicks into it every time.
Never kill a baby. I guarantee you, if a prophecy told you that you had to kill that baby, it will backfire.
Yep. Yes.
Just let them go. They're
Yep.
babies, okay?
They're
I'm
gonna
looking
go-
at you, Voldemort, okay?
Go full Oedipal on your ass.
But I'm looking at, like, Hades and Hercules. Honey, you mean Hercules.
So inaccurate,
Okay.
though. But catchy as fuck.
Yes.
Literally, they just announced they're making live-action remake.
So excited.
So-
I always wanted to be one of the Urn ladies. I
Yeah.
loved them.
No, I
The
am the
muses.
short one. That's me anyways.
You're right.
Honey, you mean Hercules. Please. Actually, I want Octavia Spencer to play it, but it's okay. If she gets it, I would allow it. But anyways.
I love the muses. I want to be one.
They're absolute. So I
Excuse
think
me?
Beyonce needs to be
Yes.
one of the muses. I think Jennifer Hudson
Oh,
needs to be one of the
please.
muses. I think Octavia Spencer would
But
kill
let's-
that comedy role.
Let's give J-Hud the nice middle muse so that way she can finally have her moment, because in every single, like, comparison to Beyonce that she's had, she's always been kind of second place. Like, Dreamgirls, rough. The whole Nala versus Grisabella scandal with Lion King and Cats, rough. They did J-Hud wrong in Cats, but that's a whole other story. I'm going to get off my soapbox.
Yeah, we're going to talk about an insecure king trying to kill some babies.
All the time.
So,
Hashtag King
always.
Herod.
All the kings. Hashtag all the fucking kings.
Hashtag Voldemort.
Voldemort, Voldemort.
Oh, Voldy,
I told you, yes.
Voldemort.
Don't murder babies. Ever.
Please don't.
God, I can't believe it's 2020 and I have to say this
Honestly,
still.
though, infanticide is wrong, fuckers. Okay. So it said that the boys were saved by the father of the river. Yay!
Yay!
By the bell.
Tiberius. I liked Zach, but I liked Mario Lopez, whatever his face, better. Anyway.
I'm a Screech girl.
Okay. Yeah, the father of the river, Tiberius, and a she-wolf took care of them in a cave.
What?
Yeah. I always used to
Ow!
sing that when I was closing at the store.
Let it out so she can breathe.
Just like that.
You're the
Yeah.
next Kesha. It's fine.
But that was
Shakira.
Was it Shakira?
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm so out of touch. I'm sorry.
Yes.
As the person who has the music degree, I literally only listen to classical music. I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Shakira is upset somewhere.
Shakira.
Actually, she's probably cool with it. She'll be like, "Hi, Kesha," because she's a nice lady. I
I
feel
know. I want to be her
She was
friend.
super hot in the Super Bowl.
Oh my
halftime
gosh.
like her
show.
beautiful hair.
Oh, yes. Make
What-
my hair do that. It's curly too, but it's not as gorgeous as yours.
I just want to be able to be her age and look that good.
Right.
I don't even look that good right now.
I've never looked that good, nor will I ever. And you know what? It's okay.
Yeah.
It's okay. We can't all be Shakira. And Kesha, girl, I know you had some rough times with thinking of you too.
But also, their voices have very similar profiles.
I can move my booty like Shakira.
I can't.
Okay, so not that she-wolf. She took care of them in a cave until they were adopted by a shepherd, and the boys didn't know their true identity, so they were raised as regular farm boys.
What a good doggy.
The baby.
But when they got older, they got into an argument between supporters of Numitor, so that was their grandfather.
Oh.
Surprise. They just throw that in there, and they're like, oh, later, it's their grandpa. Okay.
Oh.
And King Emilius, because they were apparently, even though they were raised as farm boys, they still had, like, very strong leadership skills. Like, they were born into that role. It was a part of them. So, yeah, and Remus was held prisoner in no place other than where he was born.
Oh.
And so, slowly, he and Romulus, his twin brother, and their grandpa Numitor figure out that, hey, they're not dead, it's them. And so, Romulus was trying to figure out how to get his brother out of prison. And the king also suspected that Remus was the twin that was supposed to be dead. But once they figured it out, they joined up with their grandpa to restore the throne, which resulted in Emilius's death.
Oh.
But, dun dun dun, when the brothers were trying to decide where to build the city, they got into a disagreement on which hill it should be built.
Of course.
Yep.
Because they were bros, and they're like, we're in this together, man. But then when they got power, they're like, oh, my hill's bigger than your hill.
And Rome was built on 7 hills. So there were a lot of options, the 7 hills of Rome. So they asked the gods to throw some omens their way, and Romulus saw more auspicious birds than Remus.
Oh.
So he thought this meant he won, which led to another fight, because siblings.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
People have not changed
nope.
much.
Remus didn't survive that fight.
Oh.
And can I just say, like, I got into some throwdown fights with my sister. Like, she punched me in my throat once, and I couldn't breathe for a few minutes. But I would never kill her. I wanted to kill her after that, but I locked myself in a bathroom. It's fine. I did not murder my sister. I didn't murder my sister.
My brother
Rebecca's
used
gonna
to
be
sit
like,
on
thanks,
me.
Brie.
I know.
Thanks for that.
I know.
I pulled Grace's arm out of her socket once, but it was an accident. She was falling down the steps, because I'm so much older than her, and she was falling down the steps, and I, like, dove and grabbed her.
Okay, but that was nice.
I know,
you were
but...
trying to save her.
Yeah, but now she's evil, and maybe it's my fault.
I don't think that's how that works.
Yes,
No,
it is.
my brother
She's
used
a
to
tragic
sit on
backstory
me.
now.
Same. Brooke was, we called her a Taz when she was little because she was evil. But my grandma pulled her arm out of
Grace
her
is
socket
just
once.
too smart for her own good. She's an adult now. She's turning 18, but
She is too smart for her own good.
too smart for her own good.
Yeah, my brother and I honestly could not be more different. When we were growing up, he would, literally sit on me. And he's 3.5 years older than me, so he was much bigger than me. Yeah, it was bad. And
I'm
now,
3.5 years older than Annie.
but like we don't talk now. You and Annie are so close.
Yeah.
But
But she's in Hawiwi.
lucky.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm trying to like make a relationship so that way we can have like an actual sibling relationship, because for years we just wouldn't talk.
So
No, we lived
don't
under
fight
the
over
same
hills.
I know. We're trying not to, because Dallas has
Or
so
auspicious
many.
birds. Don't ask for the gods for an omen, and don't look to the auspicious birds.
See, and I own 2 birds, so it could have been the birds that
It
really
was
set
the
it
birds.
off.
It's always the fucking birds.
Oh, my birds were horrible.
Watch Hitchcock, damn it. Watch that damn movie. Yeah. So, he killed his brother after working so fucking hard to free him in the first place. Like, you're brilliant. I want you to found Rome, which he did. I can't. Anyway. So, there was a non-hereditary line of succession. It was elected by the Senate after Romulus, of course, self-elected, murderous little shit. And it was a line of Latin, Etruscan, and Sabine kings, and the 7 legendary kings of Rome. But the 7th king was overthrown, and Rome's monarchy ended in 509 BC, turning to a republic because with the 7th king there was an uprising because a lady Lucretia, a virtuous noblewoman, was raped by the king's son.
Oh.
Yeah. Bag full of dicks.
Mm-mm.
I hate fucking people.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh, don't get me started. Anyway, so, legend of Jupiter and Io. It's Io because Italian. Io was a mortal priestess who also just happened to be one of Jupiter.
Juniper would be the cutest name for a cat.
Right?
Juniper, you could call her Junie.
Oh.
That's what not wine and crime. That's what and that's why we drink. Not Christine got a cat and named it Juniper and calls it Junie.
Really?
Yes.
That's cute.
I'm not there yet, lady.
It's a cute little white cat that has mixed eyes.
Jupiter's wife's
Adorable.
name's Juno, but we
Yes.
ain't talking about Jupiter's wife.
Christine, be my friend.
This playa was lovers with Io and
yeah.
said that he fell in love with her, so in order to be close to her without tipping off his wife, Juno, aforementioned Juno, to his goings-on, he turned himself into a black cloud. You're so clever, Jupiter!
Hey, pretty lady.
Oh, wait, it gets better. There are more turning
You want to
of
come hang out with a
things.
cloud? She's like,
The sad thing is, Juno was like, you're dumb. I know you, and I figured out your tricks. And so she came to Earth to go after Io in order to protect
How
Io.
you go after your husband? It's
Yes! It's not always the woman's fault, damn it.
he's the one turning into a
Yeah.
cloud.
Yeah.
Okay, a
Yeah.
cloud.
Yep. Does this sound like Hera and Zeus to anyone?
Uh-huh.
It is. Just saying. I know.
Yeah.
I know. But in order to protect Io from Juno's wrath, Jupiter turned Io into a white cow and tried to hide her. I'd be like, fuck you. Do not turn me into a cow.
I mean, that's a little bit
heifer.
passive aggressive.
But Jupiter was shit at hide and seek, guys. He was real bad, and his wife was a fucking pro. So she found Io, and
She's like leaning against the cow, and she's like, "Oh, what do you mean?
no,
You
wait
lost
for
your
it.
girlfriend?"
She found Io in her utterly helpless form.
Oh,
And put her
no.
under the watchful eyes of Argus, who had 100 eyes, so they were quite watchful. They
Yes.
never
That's also
shut.
a Harry Potter name.
Yes.
Yes, I told you, JK.
Mm-hmm.
She knows what's up.
Uh-huh.
But
Be our friend.
Jupiter sent his son Mercury to tell Argus some bedtime stories in order to free Io, which he did successfully. But he also took it a bit further and sent Argus to his eternal rest.
Ooh.
He killed that motherfucker.
Yep.
So needless to say, Juno was pissed. So she got all petty and sent a venomous gadfly to
What's a venomous gadfly?
yeah, to sting Io or the white cow, whatever, for a lifetime.
Oh.
Yeah, so that sucks. But then Juno was like, deuces! And she went to Egypt to become the first Egyptian goddess. Get it? Talk about a hell of a comeback story.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Jupiter and Io. Juno's a boss. Io just, I'm sorry, boo. Your life sucked. You picked the wrong lover. So then there's the myth of Janus, who has two faces, one for the past and one for the future, which reminds me of the goddess Hecate.
Mm-hmm.
You know I love my goddess Hecate. But he was the Roman god of beginnings, responsible for changes in times. So the month January, it's indicative of a new year, a beginning, a change in time, all that.
The last time we could leave our house without masks.
Sad
Yes.
day. I have to leave still, but that's just for work.
Actually, I left mine in March without a mask.
Not me. I've been afraid of everything.
Went down to San Antonio, right after they had their first confirmed case, but
Oh, shit.
I had a professional development down there, and heaven help me if I did not go to that.
Well, because my body already hates me, I
Yeah.
have to be careful.
My body hates me right now, too. I can't feel my whole leg. The whole thing. That might be your vagina. I'm sorry. I can't tell. So Romulus was back at being a little shit again. Rather than murdering his brother, though, this time he's kidnapping a woman, and Janus intercedes to save the woman by burying her kidnappers under boiling water and ash when he cleared the path back to
My
her by
dream
flooding
is to be wealthy enough to just do whatever I want like Roman gods. Like, can you imagine being that powerful just to be like,
I want to be Bacchus. I want to be Bacchus.
I can do whatever I want.
Bacchanalia, bitches.
I'm just gonna
Yeah.
turn into this and buy this and kidnap this person.
I'm gonna kidnap this person.
Imagine
Let's just bury them and
literally not
Ash
worried
and
about
boiling water.
anything.
Honestly. Yeah, he flooded a volcanic hot spring, like good man or good god, whatevs.
Okay, but sometime volcanic hot spring, like in Japan,
oh, please take me.
Also
wanna go.
Costa.
a
Yeah.
lovely,
yeah.
relaxing, cultural thing that I enjoyed
Yes.
so much.
Yes. They didn't enjoy it though, they boiled.
Oh
Yeah.
no, maybe
And there was
not.
Ash.
Please don't
too.
cook me, but I want to be nice and
I want to
toasty.
be like almost cooked though.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
if my skin's not red when I get out, it's too cold.
Oh, I
Right.
shower like I'm preparing for hell, which
Yes.
I am.
Yes.
So.
Yeah. I'll be ready.
Yep. My sister and I were like, see you in hell, sister.
Yeah.
I'll save a seat, bitch. So, okay, sorry. Next, the legendary woman, I can't say this, Cloelia? Cloelia. I don't fucking know what the hell Rome. Anyway.
Cholita.
Cholita!
Remember, CH makes a k sound.
I've had 4 glasses of wine.
So
Carrie.
Cholita,
We're not done
I
yet.
think that's like Lolita goes to Mexico, though.
Yes.
It's like a little cholo.
I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Colita.
I'm sorry, guys. Okay.
Chiquita is a type of banana. Well, a brand of banana.
You,
It is
you
better.
are correct. You are correct, yes.
I like bananas.
Wink, wink.
I like bananas, too. Oh, daddy.
Ew! Stop it! Finish your section, Bree.
I'm
okay?
trying.
It's been like 3 hours.
I'm sorry. Hey,
Finish your wine,
fucking
Brie.
funny. Hey, I'm not even drunk and I'm kind of funny, guys. I think I'm funny, so fuck the rest of you. So anyway, she was the bravest of all the women after a peace treaty was established to end the war between Rome.
A penis treaty?
I'm down for a penis treaty between Rome and Colosseum. I don't know. Lars Persona. I love his name, like Lars. Hey, Lars, he's a king. Like Lars.
Lars is so Scandinavian.
I know.
It is.
Interesting.
But he took Roman hostages, one of whom was that bitch's name I can't say. And she let a bunch of virgins out of the hostage camps and swam across I think that's supposed to be Tiber River, but there's an R there. But good old Lars made one of the conditions of the treaty for that bitch to be returned to him. And when she did, he let her have one wish of him because he was impressed by her courage. So she wished that he would let half of the hostages, the young Roman fighters, go so they could keep fighting the war for Rome. Because she's a badass and she's brilliant. She's a strategist.
I would have wished for like a lot of money in my own island. Probably.
She was saving her people.
Yeah, but they weren't their best to her.
They built an equestrian statue in her honor at
Okay, that's
Via
good.
Sacra.
I want a statue
Okay,
of me with a horse.
As long as she got the recognition she deserved.
She did. I can't say her name. And I'm sorry I referred to her as that bitch, but I reserve that for friends, so.
So if you're listening, Chiquita, you are not only a delicious banana, but also a Roman hero. We applaud you.
And a friend to us all.
a friend to us all. She's gonna like materialize and be like, "Hey guys," we're gonna be like, "Ah!"
No, I'm gonna be like, yes!
She's like a banana. She's like,
Hey! Sassy bitch, I love you.
she's like, "Hey, these were not in ancient Rome, but I can't get enough of them now."
She's doing a dance. Okay. Apollo and Cassandra. So they're inextricably linked to the fall of Troy.
My name is
'cause
supposed to be Cassandra.
Ooh.
You could have been a Cassandra. Listen to this shit. She was the daughter of King Priam, and it said that Apollo fancied himself in love with her. So, like a total
Bye-bye.
bag of dicks, in order to convince her to be with him, he promised her the gift, quote unquote, of prophecy, which persuaded her to accept his offer.
Interjection.
Yeah.
Also, according to some beliefs, Cassandra is Professor Trelawney's great-great-great-grandmother, which is why no one believes her and her prophecies.
J.K. Rowling, you
Love
brilliant
you!
female. Oh my god, I
Yep.
adore you. Okay. So now you know what happens with Cassandra.
Oh, I'm
anyway,
sorry.
it's fine. I'm not upset about
I
it.
got
but
excited. I wish I would have been named Cassandra.
It's fine. But after he gifted her with prophecy, she refused to be with him. And like the little fucking shit that he was, he punishes her because he got friend zoned like a little fucker. And so he was pissed off and he burst into flames, throwing a toddler tantrum because
Yeah.
men.
Like your dog.
Okay, that's fair though. That's fair. She's a toddler. Leave her alone. I mean, she's like 80, but she's also a toddler. But he cursed Cassandra so that she had the gift of prophecy, but no one would ever believe her prophecies. So it led the people to believe she was a madwoman and a liar. And because of this, Cassandra's father locked her away in a citadel.
Aw.
And she tried to warn the Trojans multiple times about the Greeks, but no one believed her. So Troy was destroyed despite her warnings. Which kind of fuck you. Like, that's your comeuppance, bitches.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Colin and I, so like it's like a weird thing in his family. It's not weird, it's like a tradition, but it's the first name is a C name, the middle name is an A name. So Cassandra's on our list of potential.
Do it. I
Cute.
love
Child
it.
names, yeah.
I love it.
But because we both work with a lot of people, we want more unique names, but I've only ever worked with one, Cassandra.
I've never worked with a Cassandra.
And they're lovely.
Aww.
You know my Cassandra.
Yes.
I love that name too. And just don't put her middle name Apollo. Because that'd be real mean.
Nope.
I think Anne would make a nice middle name. Cassandra Anne.
We like
Very
Elise
southern.
with an
I
A
like that.
because of Annie.
Yeah, I like that. Aww.
I'm not even married yet, guys. Okay. I'm a planner.
We've
Future planner.
planned our
I am
children's
married,
names since...
And I don't have a kid. So, that's fine.
Catherine and I have planned our children's names since, like, the freshman year in college.
I'm a writer.
But I don't even
like
know
to
if I
pick
ever
names.
want to have kids. I mean,
It's okay.
maybe.
Just as long as you have a name list.
Zach
That means...
started writing again.
Oh, that's good.
I know. My husband has an English degree that he doesn't use because he's a civil engineer, like a smarty. And he started writing, and I'm so proud of him.
That shit's tough.
I know.
Also got my degree in English that I don't use.
Yeah, Colin has been writing again, and I'm working on my third novel.
Writing's hard.
It is.
Names are hard because of that.
It's my favorite thing to do.
I do love the name bit. That's fun. Okay, sorry.
Okay, continue.
Pluto and the river Styx. So, Pluto was the god of death, and so he was, like, equated to coldness.
Sticks, guys.
You die, you go to the underworld, but first you have to cross the river of the dead, the river Styx, and pay Charon.
You wanna
Chiron.
Chiron.
Yep. There's no I though, so it always throws me off.
If you want to get to Hades Town, you're gonna have to take the long way around. Guys, Hades Town is so good.
So he's the ferryman.
Reeve Carney.
I love him
Yep.
so much.
He plays Orpheus.
I know, you showed me a clip. I adore him. My little Dorian Gray. Okay, so you have to join the ferryman for the ride across the river. The dead are buried with this coin. They have to keep the coin in their mouth.
We talk about that in a second.
In order
Sorry, I'm literally dying because my quad is cramping.
Oh, that's what mine did 2 minutes ago. My foot was in possibly your vagina. I couldn't feel it.
I can't even sit on the floor today because my joints are so swollen.
Guys, we're so fucking old, and we're not even that old.
We're old women.
None of us are over 30, and
Abuelita.
we can't.
Okay.
Oh.
So they have to keep the coin in their mouth in order for the ferrymen to take their souls across the river.
Sure.
And it's from him that the planet actually gets the name of its moon. And the water of the river Styx was a bad omen to everyone, including the gods, because it affected them too. And if anyone touched the water in any way, they drank it, they fell in, they splashed, whatever, their voice would be lost for 9 years. 9 years.
Oh.
Oddly specific, but okay. And that's all I got, guys.
All right. Sorry if I sound so distant. My quad is literally cramping up so bad right now. But also, I think this is the point that we are going to take a little pausa for me to grab the second wine. So we can try the Malvasia.
Whoop, whoop.
So give us un momento to grab that.
Grab it and I'll sing elevator music.
I'm going to just stop it.
I'm going to say...
All right, so here's the Malvasia. Here we go.
Woo!
Pap.
That's a good pop.
Pap.
All right, so this is a lighter wine, but it will be a little bit sweeter as a reminder from the beginning.
Oop, oop.
Ooh, the cork is pretty. Look at that.
That is pretty. Oh, they're dancing tree people.
Yeah.
Did I ever tell you
It's
guys how when I
nice.
die, I want to be one of those tree pod people? Where
Yes.
That'd be awesome.
Because I couldn't breathe when I was little, and trees can let you breathe, and I'm like, I can help children breathe!
Hey, drink your wine.
I'm working on it.
Could help children. What an inspiration.
I know, right?
All right, so Catherine and I have wine. Bree's still working on hers. This is a lighter yellow.
It sure is. Let me.
So remember, ooh, it does smell like melon. A little bit like apple. I don't get basil
Honey?
in there. Honeysuckle. Mmm. It is definitely sweeter. Still a nice DOC from Italy, which is a
I
nice.
get like honey in this.
Yeah,
Like on the finish, like
It's
warm
nice.
honey.
it's really nice.
How was your honey blackberry butter stuff?
Oh,
Mm.
my toast has been elevated.
I'm jelly.
I got this local.
Sorry, guys.
That's fine.
It's okay. It's this local blackberry whipped honey, and it's so good.
Mm-hmm. It looks really good. But we have
It's
so much
delicious.
stuff in our pantry right now. But also, this wine is delicious.
Yeah, it's nice.
So, 100% recommend some nice Lazio region wine.
Yum. Yum, yum.
All right. So, moving on to some nice little haunty things.
Spooky.
So, when you think of Rome, most people like to think of, eating pizza or pasta by the Colosseum.
It's a busy street, though, so be
Oh,
careful.
God, yeah.
Right. Pickpockets are no big deal. Or no little deal. They are a big deal.
They are.
Don't listen to me. I've had like 5 glasses of wine.
What?
Yeah,
I missed the first part of what you just said, that sentence.
We're doing the Colosseum.
No, I got that.
Anyway, so...
Now that Bree's all caught up.
Woo!
Fuck off.
So, the Colosseum has been a landmark in the city for almost 2,000 years. In addition to being an UNESCO World Heritage Site, on June 7th, 2007, it became one of the 7 wonders of the modern world.
Interesting.
Yes. And so, obviously, with a structure that old, there are some spooky happenings, especially
Sure.
with some of the history, which we're about to delve into.
Yay.
Some. All.
Lots. Oh
It's a
my
spooky,
gosh.
slashy, crunchy, poundy, eaty kind of area.
There's a lot.
Poundy Edie.
Both those things happened, okay?
Yeah, but that also... Okay.
So when I was researching, I came across a really cool article by the Smithsonian
Ooh.
where a guy talked about his experience. He's a Greek and Roman archaeologist named Heinz Jürgen Best. I'll just refer to
You're
him as...
the best, buddy.
Yeah, we're just going to refer to him as Best
Guys,
because he has a lot to say.
Also,
so
marry
sexy.
me because... Yeah, I need to marry an archaeologist.
Yo.
Why are they so
Right?
They're like, just have my zip off shorts that I wear in the dirt, and they're like, oh man, I got sunburn on my nose and zip off shorts, and I have dust in my hair. And I'm like, whoa.
Where's the hat? Give me the hat, boo.
Yep.
Oh, yeah, but they call him a forensic engineer, which...
Also that. Give
Oh
me
my
that.
gosh.
Give me that.
Oh, yeah, so...
He really is the best.
He works at the German Archaeological Institute in Rome, which is the leading authority on the hypogeum, which is the lower portion of the arena in the Colosseum. So
I toured it.
So I'll refer to it every now and then. But yeah, it's really cool. So I'll throw in some little bits from him here and there because this article was literally so cool. So shout out Smithsonian for being awesome.
Oh, I love
Always.
them. Yes.
It's also going to be in the blog, so if you have time, please go check out this article because there's so much there that I did not include, especially with the in-depth gladiator type information because it's just not really pertinent to the ghosties that I'm going to be talking about.
Sure.
But
There's
oh my
so
gosh,
much.
it's so
Yes.
cool.
Reading is so good for you. Try and read one article every single day about something that you didn't know about,
Oh.
and it expands your knowledge.
Thank you. That was very nice.
I do it every day.
And
But then I get sucked down a rabbit hole and I
Yep.
end up reading 40 articles
Yep.
about weird stuff.
Okay,
Yep.
I
But it's
literally,
great. It's
I
great.
literally keep telling Zach.
Olive is eating
I'm
Nika's
getting-
food.
Oh.
It's diabetic food.
Oh. But yeah, I keep telling Zach that I get sucked down a rabbit hole, and he's like, "Oh, don't do that." And I was like, "But I can't
But it's
help
great.
it."
And then I can't stop. And so since Colin and I are both working from home, I'll be like, hey babe, let me tell you this fun fact. And then I'm talking about something completely random, and he's like, what? And I'm like, what? You didn't read all 17 of these articles like I did? Well, you need to catch up because
Right.
I need to talk about this.
Right. Like, it's just so fascinating, and I'm not gonna go super, super, super in depth with it, but I really want to.
I actually studied archaeology when I was in England. I took 2 archaeology classes for my history degree, and one of them was on Vikings. and it was,
Yes.
and one of our assignments was
gosh.
to go to a pub and listen to sea shanties.
Fucking yeah.
And I was like,
I'm
woo!
down.
And
Okay.
I'm down.
one of my professors for a local, it was local, and he was actually from America, my professor, and he was living there working as a professor to do the dig. So I got to go see a dig and stuff.
Oh
It
my
was
gosh.
really
Oh my
cool.
god, I'm so jealous.
So, a really cool project that other Catherine, I had 2 Catherines in my bridal party, which was really weird but it was also awesome because one
Short
was with
Catherine and Tall Catherine.
Yes.
I'm Short
I was
Catherine.
about to say.
But Tall Catherine did a really cool study. Her graduating year with her master's from our college, where she did like how, you know, shanties like that change when, say, people are drunk. And so she taught us all a song at the very beginning of the night and then would record us later and later and later through the night. Well, in our final recording, I was inebriated and had the hiccups. So I was literally laying on the floor, hiccuping through this song,
Shanties
cracking
are
up.
a jam, man. And shanties are written to be a jam, and they're wonderfully fun.
But yes, I get the hiccups. So if I ever get the hiccups on here, I'm sorry. Anyway, so actually starting my story, not just...
Guys, it's going to be a really long one.
What do we do with the drunken sailor? What do we do with the drunken sailor? What do we do with the drunken sailor? Early in the morning. Put him in a longboat till he's so far.
Alright, and she's cut off. Okay, other side note, I taught that to my girls the first year I ever taught, and it was the most fun ever. Anyway, so, Colosseum. Construction began in 72 AD.
That's my favorite number. 72 is my favorite number.
Colosseum! And it finished
I
in
am a Roman girl.
80 AD. I say those very similarly, so I wanted to make sure I said AT, not AD.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
So
And
80.
ADHD is me.
So AD, and it was officially known as the Flavian Amphitheater. At the completion, they held 100 days of games that included famous gladiator combats and animal fights.
No!
So this
I love how we're more upset about the animal fights than the gladiators.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
It doesn't have to make sense to you.
Well,
it just has to make sense to us and animals.
It'll also make sense more later. But like this is something that they were really well known for with these gladiator fights. But some of the animals included.
I was about to say!
Yes! But some of the animals were lions and tigers, but also
And
animals.
bears?
But some of the animals literally went extinct because
Fucking bag
I know.
full of dicks. Carrie hates us.
I'm sorry. Don't hate.
I'm just saying you hate us because we keep interrupting.
We have not gotten through a single sentence this episode without interrupting. It's because we pre-game pretty hard today.
I'm sorry.
But it's also great. We're entertaining this way, so fuck off.
Okay, so I'm gonna pause y'all while I finish getting through this paragraph because it's not happy. I'm sorry. So yeah, some of these animals literally went extinct in these games. It's believed that about 5,000 animals were killed and 2,000 gladiators fought within those 100 days.
Ugh.
And supposedly they would flood the arena to hold mock naval engagements. And they went, yeah,
Sorry.
they went pretty in depth in the Smithsonian article. It gets pretty gruesome, but please check it out.
Oh,
also,
fuck yeah, I'm checking it
Yeah, and how they flooded it is like literally.
We're getting there. Pause.
Oh, I was just gonna talk about architecture and science. And
We're
how
getting
cool it
there.
is.
You can talk about it in like my 18th paragraph.
Damn it, Carrie! I have lots to say about boats today.
Sorry. All right, so the Colosseum could hold about 50,000 people. Some sources said up to 80,000, but that was if they were really sardined into their seats. And when they said this, I was thinking of the SpongeBob episode. They literally sardined people in their seats.
Meat.
Me.
But also, I would freak the fuck out 'cause super claustrophobic.
Oh, yeah.
Especially when it comes to people.
Also, people were littler then too, though.
Yeah.
They weren't Americans trying to say.
Sorry.
Looking
We're
at me.
Americans. With my...
I've got wide
Absent-
hips, okay?
Right, I have an absent butt but wide hips. My apologies. But yeah, so 50,000 was about the number I could see that could fit in there, which is about the average size of a college stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a big boy.
It is a big boy. And they actually had canvas awnings that could be pulled over to block them from the sun, which I think was super innovative from the time.
Well,
Yeah,
and because they couldn't do
yeah.
anything at night because they didn't have lighting.
Right.
So, like, that happened a lot in ancient Greek theater.
Yeah.
So they would have to do shows during the daytime because
Right.
they didn't have stage lighting
Yeah.
or arena lighting, and so they would do it during the day. But especially if you were wealthy, they would have like umbrellas and awnings and things to
Yeah.
keep you protected from the sun.
Bougie bitches.
I mean, if I could
But, like,
carry like, a
Colosseum.
parasol all the time, I'd
Yeah.
be like,
I have one. I got it in Italy.
Heyo. And then
Yes, it is. I got it at Burano.
Oh.
Sorry.
So covering was the awning, and then below the arena, there was actually machinery and cages for the animals to be loaded up into the cages and then brought up to the arena floor, which was actually really cool. Read it in the Smithsonian article.
Yeah.
Like, it was amazing.
It's interesting to see
A
how
lot of-
innovative they were, but also I fucking hate you because you're terrible.
Well,
Yeah.
a lot of innovation was done in cruel ways. Like, so
Yeah.
many of the things that we
Yeah.
use today were brought up because, like, think of how much science has changed because of people trying to create weapons.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, the badness in humans can bring out the good sometimes in
Yeah.
a weird way.
Well, and kind of good news, the Colosseum was only active for about 500 years. And
Oh my god!
It's older
But-
than our country.
but also that means that it fell out of favor. So
Yeah.
people realized, hey, gruesome entertainment isn't really all that fun.
Did they though?
Now we have the Hunger Games, so.
It's also a novel that is...
Is it, Carrie?
I mean,
Is it, though? There are tracker jackers in this country as we speak.
And we are hiding indoors for that reason. But yeah, so in the 6th century, people were no longer entertained by what was going on.
Sure.
And so once it was out of the public spectacle, it was used for various small projects. It was used as a storehouse, a church, cemetery, even as a safe haven for nobility. And according to Best, the hypogeum was filled with dirt and rubble, and vegetable gardens were planted.
I love a veggie garden.
they
Yeah.
got well from the bodies that were
Yeah.
buried there.
Actually, they were not buried.
Oh, I thought you said they were made in a cemetery.
Not in the actual arena.
Oh, good shit. I was
Separate-
a little concerned.
Separate places.
Cool.
Because there's a lot in there. So the hypogeum is that lower portion. The arena was the upper.
Oh, no. Sorry.
Yeah.
So, arena. I
Separate.
should have specified. I was talking about the lower portion, but
Okay.
yeah.
So yeah, this was just like generic area was used for a storehouse, church, cemetery, safe haven, and then in the specific hypogeum, that lower portion was dirt and rubble, vegetable gardens. They stored hay and dumped animal dung, which actually animal dung is really good fertilizers.
Yeah,
So for those
yeah,
vegetable
veggies.
gardens,
I know this because I'm from a farming state, guys.
Heyo.
Always smells like shit.
My,
Sorry, Iowa. I'm always sorry, Iowa, on every episode. I'm so sorry.
And in the vaulted passages sheltered cobblers, blacksmiths, priests, glue makers, and money
Ugh.
changers.
Blue Makers was an icky job.
Yeah.
Yeah. Poor horses.
Since we can't have an episode where we talk about necromancers,
Why?
sarcasm.
Okay.
Because we've talked about them several times.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. I talked about it last time. The fuck you mean?
Yeah, no, since we literally can't have an episode where we can't talk about necromancers, they would come at night to summon demons.
I come to
Of course.
And of course, we all know that people couldn't close their portals correctly or break off communication, so there's bound to be, things
yeah,
happening.
guys, just shut your portal.
Honestly,
Come on.
get your shit
This
together.
is Necromancy
your
101. Necromancy 101. Close your
We're
portals.
gonna teach a class. We're gonna teach Necromancy 101.
Yes.
Close the portal in communication.
Come the
Say
fuck
goodbye.
on.
Salt
Oh my
yourself when you leave.
Come on, people.
Make sure the Yule log's burning
Right.
during that time.
Sage yourself.
Come on, people. Anyway, in the 12th century, it was made a fortress for the Frangipane warlords. And even then, people saw it crumbling and called it a formal temple to the sun.
Oh, that's kind of a bummer.
I know. It's really
Yeah.
sad.
But it's still amazing.
Right.
And it's super crumbly.
Well, and it just
It
keeps
is.
going from there. So there's evidence of several failed construction projects. Pope Sixtus V.
That's confusing.
Yes. He tried to turn the Colosseum into a wool factory in the 16th century. So he wanted the actual workshop to be on the arena floor and then had living areas in the upper levels.
Well, that's not a terrible idea.
No.
Right, but he died and it never came to fruition.
I
Of
need to be
course.
the doctor's next companion so I can see all of these things.
Right?
Because my history degree would come in real fucking handy at that point.
I'm
I
just
want to be the
curious.
next doctor.
So interesting.
That
You
should
can
be
be
my
my
companion.
Yes.
then.
Yay!
And then also in the
I need
15th
K9.
century, In 1943 specifically, botanists were intrigued by the flora that was naturally growing in the arena. And some credit to the, quote, witches.
Yeah.
We'll talk about them more in
Wins.
a little bit. They would come out with their herbs and sometimes would accidentally leave them.
I talked to you about that too.
But they found over 300 types of flora there.
Ooh,
Yeah,
that's so interesting.
right.
And exciting.
So we'll get a little bit more in depth in that in a second whenever we talk about more
Uh-huh.
occulty things.
Yay.
During the 18th century, popes began to make it a sacred Christian site. So, as I said during yours, Christians tried to take this over.
Well, it's
As
like
they
like
do.
like the
Right.
Pantheon, which is literally one of the most reverent places I've ever been in, and it's been like 4 or 5 different religions have used
Yeah.
it as a holy space, and you can tell why when you walk in there.
Yeah. Well, and, there are some rumors about Christian martyrs having met their fate there.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of speculation at this point. But a quote from the History Channel article that I found: every Good Friday, the Pope leads the way of the cross procession into the Colosseum. This place has always been closely connected with the church, and on this day, the early Christians that died in the arena are remembered.
Okay.
And so, it's assumed that
Well, because a
Christians
lot of
were
Christians
martyred
were martyred there
Right.
when there was a pagan leader in charge.
Right.
Christians were all frequently slaves, and so
Yeah.
slaves were who were sacrificed in the arena because they were
Right.
considered indispensable
Yeah.
or dispensable.
Dispensable. So there were attempts of excavations in the arena in 1813 and 1874, but they had to fight against flooding groundwater, so they were both unsuccessful. It wasn't until the 1930s when Mussolini made clearing the hypogeum a priority. By this point, almost 2/3 of the original Colosseum were destroyed through neglect, natural phenomena, whether it be storms or earthquakes, bombings during World War II.
Yeah.
Sure.
Which is heartbreaking.
It is.
Well,
And
any
then-
country that was
Yeah.
Right.
involved had
Yeah.
absolutely devastating
Yeah.
Right.
effects. Even us, which in America is
Yeah.
not super common.
Uh-huh.
But we still feel the ripple effects.
Well, and we were with Pearl Harbor. We were
Right.
attacked. So
My papa was there.
every country that was involved in World War II had devastating effects. So.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then they also had lootings and vandalism.
Yeah.
Best.
People suck.
People suck. But
And
best.
I'd probably loot the Colosseum if I had
It's
a chance.
pretty, it's pretty awesome. I mean,
Right. Bess has been able to go in and look at markings and find clues that people have left behind. So he's found what powered the ramps for moving the animal cages up and down into the arena. Which, I'm
super excited.
right, it's I want to go see it. But he's also found drawings of catapults and of the cranes that they use to help make the structure. So think of how heavy 18 feet of marble would be,
Oh my gosh.
and these cranes would be lifting that to help put them
I'm
in
sure we'll get
place.
to talk about that next week as well.
Yeah. But he identified the 28 platforms that were used as counterweights, that were used as runoff canals that could have been used for the mock naval battles.
So interesting.
Yeah. And so I really want to go see those, and it just sounds really cool.
See, the thing is, though, with the tour I did, they didn't
Yeah.
really... Yeah, which is disappointing, because, I'm just now learning this.
This
Yeah.
is going to sound so pretentious. Okay, you ready for this? But when you do super touristy things, you're not going to get the best information.
Well, yeah.
Which sounds super pretentious. And I'm aware, but it's super true.
No,
also.
it is true. Which
You
is
just
why I
glaze the
generally
surface.
tried to avoid that shit and would, do not super touristy things,
Yeah.
going to fucking Volterra, which most people don't know about,
Sure.
and hiking down to the Etruscan tombs and shit.
And guys, there are some tourist things that 100% you gotta do.
Oh, yeah.
100%. You should do the tour of the Colosseum, but
Yeah.
do your research also.
Yeah.
Because
Right.
you won't get everything.
No, I was just pointing out, I did that tour,
Yeah.
and they don't point that out.
Right.
You're so lucky you have amazing tour guides like us to tell you all about it.
So, restoration began in the 1990s and is still going according to sources I found. They have spent about $27.6 million towards
Italy.
the restoration. And just
Sure.
I'm not
Catholic
even,
Church, ayo.
I'm not even gonna do that math to put it into euros.
It's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money.
When I was there, it was like $1.40 to the dollar, so just multiply that a little bit.
Yeah.
It's a hot minute more.
A lot of money, and they have been so careful to restore it to its actual original splendor. And, I mean, they don't even use cleaning Solvents.
Yeah.
Like, they do not want to destroy any portion of this. They just want to restore it, which is just phenomenal.
Yeah, well, more modern-day governments are realizing how important it is to protect their history.
Right.
Yeah.
And so much of it was damaged, especially World War II. World
Yeah.
War II did a number
Fucking
on historical
Oh, yeah.
historical sites, and but I think thankfully now people are starting to realize how important things are.
Yeah.
A little more.
Right. So that brings us up to modern day. So let's talk about ghosties.
Spooky.
So, of course, there are ghosts because hundreds of thousands of slaves, gladiators, and wild animals met their cruel fates here.
Spartacus!
Yeah.
It's a lot of living things that are not living anymore.
Right. The vaults are particularly active since this is where slaves were held and gladiators prepared for their fights. And in typical ghost fashion, people have reported hearing screams, big cat growls, so lions and tigers.
It's Mavis and Olive.
Yes, those big kitties. Dragging chains, something whispering in their ear, which I find that particularly creepy because...
Personal space, man. I don't care if you're dead. Back off, bud.
For real, we didn't hug for 10 years.
Don't
fuck off!
Please don't whisper in my ear. That's creepy.
That's a song. Sorry.
Seeing ghostly figures of Roman soldiers, of course. They were there. One place even referenced the gladiators that were down there, but they didn't actually report seeing any. They just were like, there's probably some down here. I was like, okay, yeah, there's definitely some gladiators down there.
I would think of all the ghosties, they would be gladiators.
Right. Not Roman soldiers.
Right.
Anyway, feeling touched or
take my
pushed and crossing through cold patches. Now, there's a lot of criticism with the cold patches because the structure is made of stone, which makes it naturally colder.
Yep.
No, it's a ghost. I'm pretty sure.
Well, and there's a tunnel system that could bring up some cold air if you were down the upper
You know what else
sections
brings up
and-
cold air, Carrie?
Ghosts.
Ghost.
Yeah.
It's always a ghost, Carrie. Get it together, man.
But also, if someone walks through the gates of death and they don't get some sort of chill or just like uneasy
You should have
feeling,
a physical reaction.
Oh,
right?
definitely
Because
did, too.
to think of the thousands
Yeah.
of people and animals that walked through those gates to meet their death.
Yep.
Even just looking at the floor, I was like, ugh,
Yeah.
That's
that's a lot of carnage.
right.
And I am not a squeamish person, but when I go to
Nope.
historical sites, I get emotional.
Oh,
Yeah. I once watched a video on
What was that?
Heinzfeld-Jacobsen disease. Creutzfeldt-Jacobsen disease. It's fucking mad cow. Anyway,
Yes.
I watched that fucker, and they like butchered shit and all the nastiness, and I still
yeah.
wanted a burger afterwards. I watched all of the crime shows. I am not squeamish. I fucking cry every time I go.
I cry at a
Fucking-
lot of historical sites.
Yeah.
I'm like a weird person. I'll be like with my family or with my students or something, and I'm just like, I just need a minute. There's like
I'm
a
really-
lot of history here. And they're
Yeah.
like, okay,
I mean,
weirdo.
it's fucked up, but it's also beautiful. It's all
Gelato
the
in both
things.
hands.
Yes.
They're like, okay. And I'm like, I just need a minute.
I'm really excited for the three of us to travel together because we're all just gonna be like sobbing.
It's
at
me
some-
with an alcohol in one hand, a coffee in the other hand. Because
yep.
as lovely as alcohol is in different countries, the coffee,
Coffee.
is
Oh my
in
God,
different countries.
good.
I just fucking orgasmed thinking of the coffee in Italy. Like, oh my god!
I am
Ooh.
it's so good.
Guys.
And then like crying about history.
Yes.
That's
Yeah.
what I do.
Yeah.
It's a really good experience. Everyone should travel, man.
And if you can't travel, we are here for you.
Yeah.
And we can
You can live vicariously. You can travel vicariously through us.
vicariously.
I have to do a lot of side hustles to be able to travel, so I get the struggle.
Yes. All right. So, as mentioned earlier, it's believed that in the 15th century, witches and sorcerers would meet here to create their potions.
Yes!
The evidence is in the large number of non-indigenous plants that are found only in the Colosseum.
Yes.
So, they would bring their herbs and things, some indigenous that can only be found in the Colosseum, to then create more. So they have, I think it's 337 different types of
Please.
plants.
Love it.
Also,
Just
they brought
within the
their
Colosseum.
herbs. The witches knew what was up.
Yes, they did.
I'm going to talk a whole bunch about herbs.
Oh,
Yay.
bless.
We like herbs.
It's rumored back in the medieval times that the Colosseum was likely one of these 7 gates of hell, spawning from the horrendous legacy of the gladiator fights.
Yeah.
A quote from Buzz 4 Tours, which is not related to BuzzFeed at all.
Okay.
Buzz is actually one of their transportation types.
Okay.
And so Buzz, you can either get a Buzz or a...
Taxi?
You just didn't
No.
ask me about my wiener hand.
sorry. A Buzz is kind of like a smart car where...
Okay.
We were just talking about this the other day.
Metro. Underground.
Scooter.
Oh, Vespas.
Vespa.
Yeah, Vespas.
So Buzz or Vespa. This company will... Oh my gosh. Sorry, maybe it's just like climbed up on top of this huge storage
That
cabinet.
just fucked me up. I'm
And
feeling
it-
a little bit.
It
I'll
startled
post
me.
pictures of the pets soon on our Instagram.
It startled me to say the least. But anyway, Buzz or Vespas, you can get around. But Buzz 4 Tours has an amazing article as well that's on the blog that says, at the end of each bout, a strange figure appeared dressed as Sharon or Chiron.
Oh, okay,
Chiron?
okay.
Chiron?
Okay.
Chiron, but there's no
I
I.
was like, who the fuck is Sharon?
Well, it's
Sharon!
C-H-A, which would be Ka. Karen? Karen?
I said it right earlier.
It's Karen. She's asking for a manager.
Okay,
also
I would
my
like to
mother's
note
name.
I said it correctly at some point during
said
this
Chiron.
thing. Chiron?
I said
That's probably it then.
There's no I, though. Anyway.
That's what I said.
Yeah.
Well, you know what? Again, 3 bottles of wine.
Yes.
Let me, you know,
We are
I'm
on our
trying my
third
best.
bottle of
I
wine.
think that's
It's fine.
right, and I said it at one point, but I was like, but wait, there's no I. Okay.
Right.
Part of our charm is that we are not good at pronouncing
We're butchering
things.
all of your languages, and we're sorry,
Even though
but
we
you're
studied
also
them.
welcome. I know, right? We've studied all of these fucking
I'm
languages.
actually only fluent in 2 languages, so
I'm not fluent, but I'm a Jill of all
you
trades.
should be
I'm like
ashamed,
Jill
Bree.
the Ripper. Fuck off.
Jill
Anyway.
the Ripper.
Anyway, so the ferryman for the souls of the deceased of the world to the dead. Anyway, someone dressed as that person would bring out a hot iron to check if the victim was dead. And if so, he would carry him through one of the doors to the Colosseum.
Transport them across the river Styx.
Basically.
Come sail away.
Come sail away. Come sail away with
I did a
me.
synchronized swimming routine to that
No, she touched the river Styx.
song. I'm sailing away.
She lost her voice for 9 years, guys. It's fine.
Anyway,
I wish.
so they would carry him through Libentina's door, hence the legend of it being a gate to hell. Also, during this time, some believe a temple was built inside the Colosseum that was dedicated to Beelzebub, known as in the Bible as the Prince of all demons.
I renamed one of my siblings Beelzebub, and the other ones are Lucifer and Mephistopheles.
Okay, I literally can't not think of Queen.
Yes.
Beelzebub has a devil inside for me.
And it's Paradise
For
Lost,
me,
right?
For me.
Do you see our sound?
I'm gonna have to edit the fuck out of this.
The sound control of our app that we're using right now just died. And
Died.
I didn't even join in on that. Can you imagine if I would have joined in too? It would have been a nightmare.
You're welcome.
Sorry, not sorry. Anyway, so according to the legend, members had to answer the following question: Colis eum, Latin for "Do you honor him?" referring to Beelzebub.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it's
What up, bruh?
interesting because if you combine Colis eum into one word, Coliseum,
The Colosseum.
There you go, Bree.
it's Latin. Thank you. It's Latin
Sorry.
for center, and that's actually what a lot of European languages refer to it as Coliseum, which is Colosseum.
Mm-hmm.
And then to thank you.
You guys just get to listen to us get shitty every week and
You're
talk
welcome.
about stuff with varying degrees of soberness.
Yes.
And understanding.
You are welcome.
We talk a lot about how we have degrees and stuff, but none of this shit applies. We're just trying our best, okay?
I may have a music degree, but Queen was never involved.
I got my degree in history, but I mean...
I sang sea shanties for my degree, so I don't know what to tell you.
So, all right, my final point.
Okay.
Bede, or bead, bid,
Bitty bitty bom bom.
calm down.
We both start shimmying and bouncing.
You don't want to see me shimmy.
I mean, it doesn't really work with me because there's not anything to shimmy, but it's just my whole torso moving.
Literally, my chest hurts shimmying. Anyway, Betty the Venerable, an English Benedictine monk, prophesied that if the Colosseum collapsed, the world would... So would the rest of the world. Sorry, I can read, but my eyes got crossed because wood and world got...
Mavis!
My cross-eyed kitten.
I have some, like, dyslexia every now and then if I have words that are really similar right next to each other.
Same.
It's
I
bad.
also can't read multiple numbers in a row.
Yeah. So, he said, if the Colosseum collapsed, so would the rest of the world.
Because that was the center of their world at that time.
This is commonly taken as a metaphor for the eventual triumph of Christianity over Rome. So, cheers.
But
I'm gonna drink my wine.
Rome is that.
The center of the world? Christianity?
I mean, in their
Center of
minds.
Catholicism.
And,
for sure.
yeah, in their minds they are.
I'm a
I meant-
Baptist.
Same, except I'm a Midwestern Baptist. I'm not a fucking Southern Baptist. It's a little different.
Well,
Oh, my church, like, completely just abandoned all denominations. Was like, we're not Baptists anymore. We're just gonna be non-denominational. We're like, that's because you want to allow alcohol. Cheers. And you want to claim you can dance.
I can respect that. I can respect the alcohol and the dancing.
I'm
Dirty dancing, bitches, do it. Do it.
Footloose.
Hey, I don't want to come footloose.
been working so hard.
We all just got so excited.
I got that feeling that mom is holding me down. And then the musical version, there's this high part, and they go, I got this feeling life is holding me down. And they do this whole gospel bit. Okay.
Back home. How did this get wet? Back home, they did Footloose on the showboat, and there was this cute little boy that we named Curly, and he was real cute, but he didn't swing my way. Sad day.
Yeah.
But my friend, it's okay, my friend hit that.
That's how most musical theater guys are.
Yeah.
Sorry, honey.
Yeah. Well, I'm aware.
I didn't
But
date
a
until
girl
I was
can dream.
25 because as someone with 2 theater degrees,
Well,
I had to find. But then the first time I went over to my fiance's house, he had a Les Mis poster on the wall, and I was like,
remember that one time we sang Les Mis, the soundtrack, for 12 hours fucking straight and drove my mom up a wall?
yeah, well,
Remember
how
we
else are we
got
going to get to
drunk
Iowa?
here and scream, sang Les Mis.
But we had, it was a performance.
Oh, it was art.
It was gorgeous.
Colin and Zach can attest to this.
Yeah,
it was
so Carrie
art.
took the soprano parts, and I took the alto and the tenor parts, and then she kind of did some weird thing for the basses. It was wonderful.
Nice.
It was great.
Yeah.
I think my mom cried, but not because it was good, but because she was
We
sad.
sang it through like 5 times.
Oh,
It was a 12-hour car ride! Fuck yeah!
We just listened to Les Mis.
so
The whole time. And we sang all of the parts.
oh my gosh.
There's a video of me on
Everyone.
the internet doing every single part for One Day More on my own.
One day more.
Another day, another destiny.
And then I try and do the harmony. It's something else. Anyway, true crime and murder.
We don't like
Yay.
musicals, guys.
No, it's not like it's our livelihood or anything.
It's not like we talk about multiple musicals every fucking episode. Or sing them.
You guys could probably do a shot game, a drinking game, where it's like every time they reference a musical, take a shot, and you'll be just as drunk as us.
Or
And you
every
die.
time I talk about Iowa, or say like...
Ray, no one wants to talk about Iowa, okay?
That's why they need to
My
take
mom.
shots.
So here we go to true crime. I'm going to do my best with words, but again, 3 bottles of wine and just terrible at it originally. So I decided I would go with a lady.
Hey.
It's okay, they didn't hear
I'm
the word I
having
said.
an arthritis flare-up, and I can't type right, Bree. So are you going to make fun of my spelling of strychnine? That's rude, okay?
She made fun of it earlier. I'm not that big of a bitch. I mean, I
Sorry,
kind
my
of am.
rheumatoid arthritis is acting up, okay?
God.
So, it's fine. I probably shouldn't be drinking wine, but everything's okay. So, whoops! I am doing La Custa of Gaul or La Custa the Poisoner.
The poisoner.
Gaul is France, and they think she came from the dark side of the Alps. But she doesn't really have a history. Like, we only know about her in her later life. We just know she showed up in Rome with an extreme knowledge of poison.
Yes.
Mommy likes poison.
Yeah. Well, actually, historically, poison is the most common
Yep.
form of murder for women.
Yep.
Yes.
So, it's because it's not as messy.
We work smarter, not harder.
That's true. I mean, no one should murder people, but if you do, you should be smart about it. Okay. Anyway, so, they think that her background, she was from the dark side of the Alps, which sounds spooky as shit.
I love it.
And she worked her way into Rome, and she started with a knowledge of hemlock because she had pagan Gaelic ancestors from where she was, okay?
She's my people.
Yes.
Oh.
So they think she learned the trade of medicinal herbs and plants, and because most small villages, if they couldn't afford like famous Greek doctors, they had medicine women who dealt with herbs and plants used to help heal. But this bitch was like, you know what's more fun? Killing people.
I like her.
She has quite a number. Just wait.
Woo!
So she learned, and so like, at first when I was researching her, I was like, she's not really a serial killer. But then the more I read, I'm like, oh, this girl loved this.
No.
So she chose to use her knowledge for harm. There's 3 female poisoners of Rome. So they're called the trio of female poisoners. It's Canidia and Martina, and then Lucasta. They're 3 famous women poisoners.
Martina McBride?
No, probably not.
I mean, I would not doubt if she was back then, got frozen like Captain America, and then came back.
I'm sorry, Martina
Martina, I love
McBride.
you. I want to be your friend.
I saw her in concert. They put Annie
Shut
up on
up.
the stage.
How old was she?
Little during In My Daughter's Eyes, they like blew up a huge picture of her.
Oh.
Yeah, because Annie was a precious, perfect child.
Yeah.
Yes.
Guys,
I'm not a country music person. I was drug along, and then Annie got all the fame. Whatever. Okay, so she was very passionate about her craft. She was not like half-assing anything. So she studied, like, actively studied poisons to try and get different ways to poison people without being detected at all.
Yeah.
Wow.
So because her dedication to the craft, she got famous among the elite.
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
So I'm sorry about it, but I kind of admire the fuck out of her.
Okay, so she makes her living, but I'll explain why she's so creepy in a little bit. So, very passionate, new ways to kill, different ways to kill. So she can make people go mad.
Ooh.
She can make people have stomach problems. She can make people have fits and seizures. She can make people die instantly in their sleep.
She fucking started the Salem witchcraft
She
trials and
is
shit.
literally
her descendants.
So she knew her stuff, okay?
Shit.
She was so high quality that the rich and powerful went to her to get poison. She was jailed multiple times, but her connections always got her out.
She's a badass.
So she was really, really good at her job. In 54, Empress Agrippina was the wife and the niece, super icky, of Emperor Claudius.
Fucking inbreeding, man.
Yeah, so she was also his 4th wife, and his other wives did not get on
This is
well.
why white people are so fucked up.
Yeah. So Agrippina went to Locusta to kill her husband, who was Emperor Claudius. But before she killed him, she got Claudius to change the heir. So Claudius had a son named Britannicus, and
Was he smart?
From a previous marriage?
Yes.
Yeah.
And
Okay,
Agrippina
makes sense.
had a son from a previous marriage, Nero.
Ah!
So
yes!
Agrippina had Claudius change his heir to Nero, and then she poisoned him. So Claudius had food tasters because poison was super common among the elite.
Yeah.
So he had 2 food tasters and a bodyguard who would always try his food.
I mean, shit, that was carried on through the fucking, European monarchy all through.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the European monarchy because I'm going to talk about my top 10 poisons.
Sorry.
Yay!
I'm so excited. I'm, sitting here like an excited little
I just
kid.
want a poison. I want a
just
Victorian
staring at
poison
you.
ring so bad. Like, Colin proposed with black diamonds, which is second only to a Victorian poison ring.
Oh my god.
So
And then I slowly melt
so
down
excited.
the couch.
I'm so ridiculously excited. I'm seriously like a little kid at Christmas just staring at you like, tell me more.
So
please,
Claudius,
Mom.
this is how you know Claudius was a creeper. His favorite food was mushrooms,
Oh.
which I hate.
The texture.
Okay. I love mushrooms.
No.
No shame.
So in
No.
Pennsylvania, we had mushroom, like my grandpa was a mushroom farmer, okay? So I swear it's in my DNA to hate them. Anyways, so Claudius had his food tasters, but his wife, Agrippina, made mushrooms for him and brought it directly to him. And he was not suspecting her at all, okay?
Clever little minx.
So she brought him the mushrooms and poisoned him. And everyone's like, oh, these were bad mushrooms, right? Because a lot of breeds... breeds?
Shrooms.
Yeah.
Yes.
Breeds, varieties. A lot of varieties of mushrooms are poisonous. And so they were his favorite food. And then he was like, oh no, get my feather deer. So what they would do if they got poisoned is they'd stick a feather down your throat so you'd throw it up, right? Because they didn't have medicine, but you have to purge your system.
Yeah.
This bitch put strychnine on the
Oh
feather.
my god. I love her. Like,
So
I'm
when-
sorry that's awful, but it's fucking brilliant.
So when
Use your
Claudius was
fingers,
like, oh no,
man.
I've been poisoned, like I'm throwing up, I'm sick. She's like, oh here honey, here's this feather. And so he poisoned himself further with the feather.
Oh my god, she's brilliant. I love her.
And
I'm
he
sorry.
died. But
I'm sorry, yeah.
So Agrippina blamed Locusta and Locusta was put in jail.
Oh.
Okay?
That two-timing bitch.
Yeah, well, she got what she wanted. Okay, so Nero, knowing this plan,
Nero's a little shit.
he is, but he gets homegirl out of jail. So
Yeah, okay.
Nero,
He also
knowing,
commits suicide.
oh, I'm going to talk about that too.
Okay.
All of the things.
All the
Nero,
things.
knowing that his stepbrother Britannicus had a claim to the throne because he was Claudius's actual son.
Legitimate heir. Okay.
At 14, he was considered a male in Roman society, and he could vie for the throne, okay? So Nero got Locusta out of jail, pardoned her of all of her past crimes and any future crimes that she committed,
Ooh.
gave her
Man,
land
but
and a
also
ton of
clever,
money.
Clever.
And he said, if you do this for me, I'll get you what you need.
Yep.
So Claudius's son Britannicus was 13, about to turn 14. He could challenge for the throne, and it was well known he had epilepsy. Okay? Inbreeding does that sometimes, but epilepsy is rough and it can affect many people, and it's still a common affliction. So he was known to have seizures, and so what Locusta did, apparently the first time she tried it didn't really work out because Britannicus was only 13, but he always had people check.
Right.
So they're doing a family dinner one night. Agrippina's there. Claudius is dead at this point. Nero's there. Britannicus is there. Locusta poisoned a jug of water. And why this is important is because they served hot wine, to make food safe.
Right.
And it was too hot for Britannicus to drink. His brother knew that he likes his wine colder. So the taster had already tasted his hot wine. A server brought over the pitcher of water, poured it into the hot wine. Britannicus drank it, and she had picked a poison to mimic a grand mal seizure. So when he had his seizure...
She's fucking brilliant, but evil.
Yes. So when she was really good at her job, I will say that.
Fuck yeah.
So when he had a seizure, Nero was like, oh, my brother, he has seizures. This is what happens. Like, bring him into the other room, and he'll come back from it, right? But he never did.
Oh my god.
That's awful, but oh my god, the execution
so she
is fucking
literally
brilliant.
figured out
Right.
exactly. Well, and she had so many steps, like with the feather on top of it. Like, she was good at her job, and she had to be able to work with the elite because they all had tasters.
Yeah.
So,
Clever little
after that, she was named the imperial poisoner, and Nero gave her land and made her a school to teach her craft to younger people.
Wow.
Oh, fuck yeah, he's ensuring his legacy.
But what happened so she used to use animals to practice her poisons, but now she got as many slaves as she wanted to.
Oh, no.
Not on her pupils. Her pupils then, but he just gave her, some people think over 1,000 people that her pupils and her were able to kill. So she would kill every single day just to test up. So, like, it's not like she's just doing her job anymore. She enjoyed it on a personal level, which makes her a serial killer, right?
She was perfecting her craft.
She perfected her craft, but she enjoyed the hell out of it. So she would
God.
poison people every single day, and so she killed over thousands of over 1,000
Fucking
slaves.
A. She's worse than Elizabeth Bathory.
Yes, and not including what
respect.
her pupils.
I mean, I know.
It's for her job.
I know, but also you're
But
terrible.
also that's horrible.
So she had a school where she would train people in her craft, and then they would just murder slaves every single day and other animals. But she wanted to use people because it was closer to what her real task would be.
Her secret school reminds me of The Witcher, not gonna lie.
Yeah. So she had a ton of money. She had a school. She was literally living the high life. But eventually Nero, and a lot of the stories about him probably aren't true, but he was a wackadoodle.
Oh, fuck
and so
yeah.
he actually had a specially made kit from Locusta that was a suicide kit. So he could kill himself super efficiently. So when the Senate said, bro, kill yourself, we're done with you, he actually didn't have it with him, so he had to use a knife. But he had a special kit, and all the royals in his family had a kit specifically handcrafted by Locusta. But for some reason, he didn't have it with him.
So she made essentially like the built-in cyanide tooth tabs for him.
She made, and they had like different,
God.
it was a whole kit, so it was like certain, if he needed to show certain things, certain amount of time, how quickly he wanted to die.
Oh my god, that's so interesting and like super fucked up.
She was skilled. She would, if at different times, she could have been a wonderful doctor.
Jesus, she's so impressive.
Yeah.
In a fucked up sort of way.
After Nero died, she completely lost her status and was brought to trial for her crimes by the new Emperor Galba, because she had killed literally thousands of people, many of them. And so, like, at first I was like, oh no, she's not really a serial killer because she's making the poison, but she's not getting anything out of the exchange besides money. So I thought she was like a hitman. But then I realized that for her to poison people every single day and she was enjoying it.
Yeah.
She was doing it.
But the sad thing is, they didn't really consider slaves to be people.
Oh no.
Right.
So she is.
Just like Americans.
Fucking assholes.
Yeah. So
I have to bleep out so much.
whoops. Her crimes. So this is a story, and it is horrifying. Okay? So, her execution. There is one source, it's the original Encyclopedia of Serial Killers.
Ooh.
So, now that we've kind of weirdly bonded with the serial killer, I'm going to tell you 2 stories of her death. So, the first one is absolutely horrific, and historians are pretty sure this was just a fictional story.
I want to have at least 2 stories of my death.
Okay. Well, so they think this is fictional. They also don't know if it was a true story. It probably didn't happen to her. But the Romans were a ruthless bunch, and because they were trying to make an example of her, that you can't just murder everyone, they...
Like they do?
Yes.
Fuck!
Well, Galba was trying his best, I guess. So, I mean, he's coming after Nero. He didn't have a lot to work with. So, he, sentenced her to the death. And I'll tell you the sensationalized one first, and then I'll tell you what probably happened to her. Okay. So, regardless, she was executed for her crimes.
Yeah.
What they thought happened, or what the Encyclopedia of Serial Killers, only the first edition said happened to her, was that she was dragged in chains to an arena where she was smeared with the vaginal fluids of a female giraffe.
Oh! A female giraffe? Oh.
Where she was raped to death by a male giraffe.
Oh my god! I fucking hate people so much! Fuck fucking fuckers.
Yeah, so that is a story that they're pretty sure is fictional.
God, I hope so. I can't even explain how much I hate people
So
right
they said originally it was
Fuckers.
wild animals, but everyone thinks it was a giraffe and literally raped her to death.
Fucking...
There is a story of a donkey raping a convicted murderer woman to death. In like the arena, you know, they were real into their animal cruelty and female
I hate people
and male
so
cruelty.
fucking much.
Yeah, they super
But
violent.
also, with my animal background, so other side note, I used to work at a vet clinic as a vet tech, and animals just don't do that to humans. I mean, you can have the pheromones on them, but I mean, unless you have the actual physical body type. So I mean, like horses and donkeys create mules. They have similar body types, therefore they can procreate.
Yeah.
But mules are sterile because they're not similar enough
Yeah.
in genetics. But they don't just do that to humans.
Well, so
I almost
they
had
said
a couple dogs rape me. So
Okay, but
they said that
dogs
the giraffe was
humping your
specially
legs
he
is-
was specially
is different.
trained. They said the giraffe was specially trained as like a
Fucker.
We're too
tool.
small for it.
fucking
That's why
Romans
it killed her.
God damn.
I mean,
It was like an impaling type situation where she was ripped open.
but like, how would I don't even.
Well,
my
again-
brain does not even process that because they would literally have to have her like strapped into a contraption.
I mean, and
to
they're
have that
Romans,
happen.
so yeah,
Yeah.
I can see that.
So that's part of the
fuckers.
story. But they think they don't have exact record of how she was executed. But she definitely was executed.
Ugh.
For
so
fuck's sake,
the
I
other
hope it
one
wasn't
is
by
probably she was just
rape.
dragged through the town in chains and then killed.
Also wretched, but I hope it wasn't
Yeah.
by
Right.
rape.
So that is
Fucking asshole.
the story of her, and like I said, it's kind of sensationalized. It's kind of what she's known for, but they don't actually have historical evidence that she was killed in that manner. But that's horrific that someone even came up with
Yeah.
that to say
Right.
Twisted fuck. So here's my
that. Also,
thing.
a giraffe did not need to be involved in that.
Right.
That giraffe did not want to do that. Poor giraffe.
I hate people so much. Here's my thing. Like, yeah, she did fucked up shit, but a lot of it was, like, at the behest of rulers. So, like, fuck you. I'm not saying you shouldn't be punished, but if the whole giraffe raping bit was real, like, fuck you. That was your
Murder
own-
was a source of entertainment for the ancient
Yeah,
Romans.
so
Right.
how dare you judge a woman for fucking killing a bunch
It's
of people
rough.
when you do it all the goddamn time for entertainment in the fucking arena?
Yeah.
I hate people so much, especially men. Fuck you, ex-wives. Fuck you, ex-wives.
So, bringing it back in.
Sorry.
I wanted to talk a little bit about poisons from antiquity. So, for her, hemlock was probably used most frequently.
Yeah.
Hemlock's like a plant that's been around, Carrie's dying.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
I'm really like ducking my head behind the table because I can't stop
I'm
laughing.
sorry, I snorted a little. It happens, okay?
It's okay. I cackle like a witch.
Well, so here are my 3 laughs. I cackle like a witch. I bray like a donkey, or I snort like a fucking pig. I'm super attractive, guys. Hit me up.
Hey, she's single.
I know you want to hit this after that explanation, right? Description, that thing. Anyway, back to that.
Monkshood.
I like monkshood.
Yeah,
but
so
bad.
Monkshood was probably what they used to kill Emperor Claudius. Because the poison aconite that's actually derived from monkshood makes sense because it's called the mother-in-law's poison. It causes vomiting and diarrhea and then heart functions and palpitations till the person died.
I think I might die every single day because
Yes.
that happens to me about every morning.
But also, like, dysentery with a heart attack?
Yeah, but so it's like clearly a poison. It happens pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And so hemlock used all through ancient Greek and Rome.
Yeah,
Super
yeah.
common. Monkshood, again, pretty common. And then later years, not necessarily ancient Rome, but belladonna
Yeah.
was used because...
Ooh.
That's what I want to name my first child.
That's
girl-
awkward.
girl
That's
child.
where I was married.
Oh. I'm sorry, continue. I'm sorry.
But not Pretty Woman. It was
Yeah.
originally... The plant
Yeah.
is used... it paralyzes your muscles, and so women used to put it in their eyes to dilate their pupils so that they looked more attractive.
That's what I did to my husband.
Okay, it'll kill
It'll kill ya. Ba-dum-bum.
And then mandrakes.
Yep.
Yes. They would cause hallucinations and then kill.
Also,
and then strychnine, cyanide, and arsenic are in a ton of foods that we eat.
Oh yeah.
And they were basically whittled down to become poison. So we don't have an exact history of her, and especially like strychnine, cyanide, and arsenic were used, especially like in the Victorian era. It's very possible that she had found out about these poisons ahead of time, because like strychnine was used in medicine in China and India for a really long time, but it didn't get to Europe to the 1700s. But she could have figured some things out ahead of time.
Well, cyanide, for you DIY poisoners out there, cyanide, a shit ton of apple seeds, I'm pretty sure. And then arsenic is like a shit ton of cherry pits.
I think so.
Yeah. And it's really
naturally found.
Well, yeah, but the thing is about poisons is you got a lot of it. And so they used it to basically wanted white snow skin in later times, and so they would use arsenic to make themselves look paler. But it's tasteless, colorless, and odorless. Yep. And just a little bit of it can kill people. So these are kind of antiquated poisons now.
Feels a little Princess Bridey.
Yeah, well, we have biological weapons now. We don't need arsenic. But there's quite a few famous cases. Yes, amazing play.
So good.
But so there is like poisons were known to be women murder. And I read
they're smarter.
Well, what it is that, and this is actually really sad. So, get help if you need it. But a lot of women commit suicide by poison because it's less messy, and they think about who has to clean up after them.
Because they're the ones who always have to fucking clean up after everyone.
Bree is on her soapbox today.
Always, bitches. Always.
So there's a really interesting article about poisons. And I meant so many female serial killers use poison. It's like by far the most common type for female serial killers, especially because a lot of female serial killers are in medicine and they're like angels of death.
Yep.
And so poison is almost always used by female serial killers. So it's interesting that the first like documented female serial killer was a poisoner. Yeah, it's interesting. I meant there's tons of books on it. It's kind of like a trope now.
Yeah.
Like old-timey women using poison to kill people. But it's super interesting.
It is so interesting.
And the science behind it is really interesting. And because a lot of different religions use like pufferfish venom.
Oh, yeah.
Is a venom, and it's used in several different religions as like a hallucinogenic, but it can also kill you. Yeah. So there's a lot of naturally found and naturally derived poisons that are pretty commonplace that have been used throughout history as part of religious rituals, as murder plots,
so interesting,
as suicide methods. So poison's really interesting.
Yes.
So there's Alnwick in England. There's the Alnwick Poison Gardens. And
what?
So they filmed part of Harry Potter there. Which is
I just got so excited.
But so the plants,
we're going.
Some of the plants, it's my dream. I wanted to go so bad. But some of the plants are behind fences because they're so poisonous you can't go near it. But it's a whole collection of poisons and it's maintained. And so it's all poisonous plants in one spot. And so like my dream is to have a garden that's all like black fruits, vegetables, and flowers. Like
I want that
Arkansas black apple.
Yes!
Eggplants.
Yes!
Blackberries. Because it's my favorite color. And so Colin knows I'm working on that. But so poison has a fascinating history. And a lot of times poison was controlled by women, by medicine women, shaman, things like that. But we were in Ecuador, and even like the shrunken heads that they did of criminals, it still used certain types of poison even after death. So poison's super interesting, and plants are amazing, and you should treat them with some caution because you never know what you're gonna get.
So my aunt actually had a belladonna plant, and I was like, So I'm really gonna name my first daughter Isabella Donna because my grandma's name was Donna, and Belladonna is like beautiful woman in Italian,
Right.
but also like it's a poison. So like you're a beautiful little badass, and I think that's an awesome fucking legacy. Like,
Yeah, the chapel I was married in was called Belladonna.
that's amazing.
And a lot of things, like, even with the levels, they're so low that they can't actually hurt you, but there are other plants where, like, even the tiniest bit will get you.
Yeah.
So, super interesting. If you are interested in plants, look up all the poisons, because so cool. And also horrific.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my favorite thing is, like, so when you, like, quote, pick a poison for whoever you're trying to kill, you can make someone look like they're going insane. You can mimic, with different combinations, illnesses that they already have, like with the case of
Which is
seizures.
Yeah.
Like you can
Which is awful and horrific and sad, but also so fucking interesting.
Well, there's a reason why, as a society, we're still terrified of biological warfare, because it's
Yeah.
absolutely horrendous to have your own body turned against you like that. And so it's still a problem, even though people have studied it. And a lot of these things can be used for good. So, like, a lot of the women in these villages use their knowledge of medicine, like willow bark to help with fevers, you know.
Yeah.
There's different medicines that are used in pharmaceuticals literally all over the world now.
Anyway, you can follow us on...
Oh, we're moving on. Okay. Okay, guys. Hit us up at darksidetourguides@gmail.com, darksidetourguides on Instagram, or darksidetourguide_wordpress.com. And the word singular obviously isn't in there. I'm just pointing out that you don't add a fucking S. So follow us, okay?
All right.
All right, we hope you enjoyed your dark tour of Rome.
Ciao.